Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Advanced Manufacturing 101. This should be an informative presentation for you. Hopefully, it teaches you a few things about manufacturing and why this is a great opportunity. We're going to talk today a little bit about manufacturing facts and why manufacturing matters, a little bit about Industry 4.0 and helping you to understand that. We'll go through some questions about why manufacturing is a great choice, some common manufacturing occupations, and some typical career paths. At the end, we'll do a Q&A panel with a couple of our manufacturers, and we hope to see you next week. With that, I'm going to share my screen. All right, some Michigan facts to start out with about manufacturing. Manufacturing in Michigan accounts for about 19.38% of the total output in the state. It employs nearly 15% of the entire workforce. That's especially true in West Michigan, approximately 1 in 6 jobs. Total output from manufacturing was 102.35 billion in 2018. There are 630,000 manufacturing employees in Michigan with an average annual compensation of $79,320. Why does manufacturing matter? A vibrant manufacturing base leads to more research and development, innovation, productivity, exports, and middle-class jobs. Manufacturing also helps to raise living standards more than any other sector, and manufacturing generates more economic activity than any other sector. Every dollar spent in manufacturing creates $1.40 for the U.S. economy. It also supports a number of other industries like retail and food service that are focused around selling goods to consumers. Without manufacturing, our economy would be in serious jeopardy. Let's try to understand Industry 4.0. So if you look at the diagram here, you can see that the first stage of industry was really mechanization that was based on water power and steam power. The next phase in industry was really mass production and the assembly line, the introduction of electricity. The third was computer and automation, and you can see some of that in action today in many of our manufacturing facilities. But really where we're headed, and really quickly, is the cyber and physical systems, which is Industry 4.0. And that's what you've come to hear of with smart homes, self-driving vehicles, and AI used in manufacturing processes. Michigan will be the national leader in Industry 4.0. Michigan will accomplish this by implementing a multi-pronged effort to ensure that by 2025, so in 5 years, 50% of all Michigan manufacturers, or 6,200 businesses, will be prepared to adopt Industry 4.0. You can see that there are a number of different industry initiatives here. So certainly this will impact mobility and automotive manufacturing, advanced manufacturing processes, so that Industry 4.0 and leveraging our talent to capture a larger share of growth in defense and advanced materials industries, engineering and design development, medical device technology, of course tech, and then professional and corporate services. Not necessarily the first image that comes to mind when you think about manufacturing, but more and more common these days. So here's some great questions, right? Why are manufacturing nerds actually really cool? Well, we've told you about the importance of manufacturing, and without manufacturers who are entrepreneurial and as creative as they are, solving the world's problems, doing most of the technical research that make advances and make our lives easier, manufacturing nerds are really cool. Why would I want a career in advanced manufacturing? Well, there's a ton of reasons. It's exciting, it's creative, it's not your traditional go to college path, although college could certainly be part of a career in advanced manufacturing. If you like to work with your hands, if you like to creatively solve problems, if you like working as part of a team, if you like seeing what you did at the end of the day and have a physical item that you can touch that you produced and feel good about, as well as the impact that you've had on the community, advanced manufacturing might be for you. But you say, I don't want a factory job. Well, if you look at these, there are many variations and a lot of diversity in the careers that you can have. How will you prepare for a career? Well, there are lots of ways, and we're going to go through that when we talk about career paths. We're also going to talk about why college may not be your only option, and that manufacturing employers many times will sponsor your education costs. So we talked a little bit about the diverse industries within manufacturing. Here in West Michigan and throughout the state of Michigan, auto manufacturing is certainly our #1 industry. Metals manufacturing follows closely behind that. Machinery manufacturing, chemical product manufacturing, of course, food and beverage manufacturing, computer and electronic products, natural resources. There are lots of miscellaneous industries. And then, of course, the furniture industry is big in West Michigan. Manufacturing is a vital part of our Michigan economy. So over 600,000 workers are employed in the manufacturing industry, ranking second only to healthcare in our state. Advanced manufacturing has experienced significant expansion in employment since 2009 and has nearly doubled the rate of employment growth when compared with other sectors. Here's an idea of some of the occupations that are involved in manufacturing. How many folks are in each occupation, how many are in Michigan, what the wage range looks like, and how many annual openings you can expect. It also talks a little bit about the typical education and training that you might need and whether or not there's a current shortage or a great need for these occupations. And as you can see, the top 10 here in manufacturing, assemblers and fabricators, there's 85,490 of these positions. In Michigan, there's 106,000, almost 107,000, right? The wage ranges between $13 and $22 an hour. And each year, we need over 10,000 of these positions come open annually. You need a high school diploma or your equivalent, GED, and there's moderate term on-the-job training. So this is not something that you have to go to college for, and you can make a decent living. There's clearly a shortage. You can do this for each occupation as you go through. So if we look at industrial engineers in Michigan, over 28,000 engineers are employed. They make between $34 and $51 per hour. There's over 2,200 openings in Michigan every year. You do need a bachelor's degree for this, and there is an expected shortage. So if college is the path for you and you have your eye on college, you could start working in a manufacturing facility and perhaps have your education sponsored by your employer. There are many apprenticeship programs and different paths to get there. Here's the occupations with the most projected annual openings through 2026. So you can see maintenance and repair workers, almost 5,000. Sales representatives, wholesale and manufacturing, 5,680. General managers and operations managers, almost 5,800. Assemblers and fabricators, over 10,000. Laborers, freight, stock, and material movers, again, over 10,000. So these are some of the most common occupations that you can see and what the job openings and job prospects look like headed into 2026. If you added those up, you're looking at 35,000 or more just between these 5 occupation categories. Production comprises the majority of jobs in manufacturing, and assemblers and fabricators hold the most employment within the group. These workers make up 1 in 4 jobs in the manufacturing sector and account for over 80% of assemblers and all assemblers and fabricators in Michigan. So typically these occupations work together as a team to assemble an entire product or component of a product. Machinists hold the next largest share of manufacturing workers. So they make up 9 in 10 of all machinists in the state, and these jobs typically require a high school diploma and long-term on-the-job training. First-line supervisors of production and operating workers make up the 3rd largest share, followed by cutting, punching, press and machine setters, operators, and tenders of metal and plastic. Here's a look at what we call a career tree, which begins to explain what a career path looks like. So you can see here at the bottom, the roots of the tree. Academics is clearly part of the foundation, if you will. Certainly your experiences, your professional skills, and your passions. The next level you can see here, the bottom branches are entry-level careers. So machine operators, CNC operators. I won't read them all to you, but you can see clearly that although there's some high school education involved, most entry-level careers do not require a certificate or advanced training. Your technical careers, where you continue to move up the ladder, are the middle part of the tree. And they're machinists, maintenance mechanic, a millwright, and there are many positions listed here. They typically do need a certificate or some longer on-the-job training. Your professional careers finally at the top. As you progress to the top of the tree, if you will, are manufacturing engineers and quality managers and aerospace manufacturing managers, etc. So these are the ones that typically will require more advanced education and more skills that you accumulate while you're on the job. Here's what a common manufacturing career pathway might look like. So here you can see you begin with operators, you're a new hire or you're a high school intern. And then you're going to go into an industrial manufacturing technician or apprenticeship. Hopefully that apprenticeship is something that you could achieve in your first year. And that's a great way to enter a manufacturing career, is to just begin, and then hopefully after you've worked for a company for approximately 6 months to a year, to get into an apprenticeship if they offer those. After that, looking for a manufacturing technician apprenticeship and continuing on to become a supervisor, a tech apprentice, or anything else that you would choose, right? So here's broken down a little more simply. It looks like you begin as a tech, then you become a lead tech, then you become a supervisor, and hopefully you become a department head, and you go on from there, right? You could advance all the way up to plant manager or an engineering career, etc. Here's a look at what is required, right? So you start out as an entry-level position, perhaps as an assembler, and with a high school diploma and very little training, your wages, you're looking at $34,000, almost $35,000 a year. A little bit more on-the-job training and a little bit more extensive training, perhaps a certificate. Your training, your next level as a CNC machinist could be $40,250 a year. Advancing further and doing a little bit more schooling perhaps, or more extensive on-the-job training, you can become a CNC programmer, making $51,000, almost $52,000 a year. A robotics technician, making $64,000 a year. With the advent of Industry 4.0, robotics technicians will be in extremely high demand and obviously command a healthy salary at $65,000, almost $64,000. Machining supervisor kind of is your next step. Certainly, you would begin to learn some leadership skills and everything that you've accumulated knowledge-wise. Typically, you would need a certificate to be a machining supervisor, of course, or mechanical engineer, which actually is in that professional degree category where you need a bachelor's degree and a professional engineer's license. You can see that that kind of tops out or begins at $88,000 a year. The knowledge and skills required for key manufacturing occupations generally include math, production processing, and of course, oral and written comprehension. Use of computer software and computer-aided design, enterprise resource planning, databases, and graphics software are also some of the technical skills that are highly sought after. Here's a look at the workforce education trends in the United States. And what I put this up here for was, you can see that here are the folks in the red in this pie chart that have a high school diploma. Next is folks that have college but no degree in the green. And you can see that's almost 62,000. And then finally, the one I want to show you is the associate's degree in vocational. And this represents under 4% of our overall population. However, it's one of the most critical, especially for Michigan and especially for manufacturing careers. An associate's degree or some vocational training is extremely important and a great way to advance your career without having to go to a 4-year college. So what are some of the strengths of a manufacturing job in Michigan? Because of the size of manufacturing, a high number of jobs will be annually available, with over 600 private sector jobs and 1 in 6 workers employed in manufacturing. And there's also, as we talked about, some diverse job types, right? A wide range of positions provides opportunity for a workforce with a diverse set of credentials. Jobs in production allow people with less formal education, chance at great pay and often health benefits and opportunities for career advancement. Then engineering and managerial positions typically require a bachelor's degree and beyond and create the potential for very high earning careers. High school diploma or equivalent and short-term training. So you can see you can be a first line supervisor, a laborer of freight stock, industrial truck and tractor operators, helpers and production workers, and first line supervisors of mechanics, installers, and repairers. Again, you can do this with a high school diploma with no formal education actually necessary. Here's some of the positions that you could look at if you were willing to get a certificate or some moderate term training or on-the-job training. So being a sales representative, wholesale and manufacturing, welders, cutters, solderers, and brazers, some CNC machine tool operators, metal and plastic, maintenance and repair workers, and production planning and expediting clerks. So computer-aided design is certainly something that you could marry with a great manufacturing education and some on-the-job training and do quite well for yourself. So with an associate's degree or some long-term training or an apprenticeship, you can become a machinist, a tool and die maker, an industrial machinery mechanic, an electrician, or an industrial engineering technician. And typically those occupations are between 2 and 4 years and do involve some schooling or an associate's degree at least. With a bachelor's degree or higher, you can become an industrial engineer, a mechanical engineer, a general and an operations manager, a financial manager, or a market research analyst. Again, I hope I taught you something a little bit about manufacturing that you didn't know before. We look forward to seeing you for our deeper dive session, November 18th. And we certainly look forward to answering some of your questions with our manufacturing panelists coming up next. Thank you. All right, good afternoon. With me today, I have Sarah Whistler from FlexFab and Ken Robinson from Schertl Sales in Muskegon. And we want to welcome you to our Q&A portion of Manufacturing Industry 101. Ken, I'm going to have you introduce yourself, and then Sarah will do the same.
Hello, hello everyone. My name is Kenneth Robinson. I'm the Human Resources Manager at Schertl Sales and Technology. We are a German-owned company. We make springs and brake clips for the automotive industry.
Great, thank you, Ken. And Sarah?
Good afternoon. My name is Sarah Whistler, and I'm also the HR manager with FlexFab. We are mainly located down in Hastings, Michigan, south of Grand Rapids, and we are a silicone hose manufacturer for many different industries, automotive, heavy duty truck, also aerospace, and some rail customers. And we are also located in Grand Rapids.
All right, terrific. Well, thank you both for being here today and helping us with some questions. All right, Ken, why are manufacturing nerds actually very cool?
I think, to me, I think it's, I was, because they know what everyone else doesn't and how it's made. You have those TV shows, how it's made, a lot of it's for food, and they get to do that. They get that firsthand experience, and sometimes may even have input on how something's made. And that's something very cool to have input on how something's made that millions of people can potentially touch. I think that's, yeah, I think that's one of the biggest reasons I think that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. I think it's cool too. Sarah, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, I always, when I started in manufacturing, I always say there's more to manufacturing than just working out on our shop floor. There's many different opportunities that you can get involved in. And yes, it is very cool to see how a product is made. You definitely, it becomes almost a skilled trade, especially in our facility. It's a very intricate, detailed type of work. It's not your typical factory line where you're watching parts or inspecting parts. It could be very, very detailed, very engineering, labor intensive also, but I wouldn't say manufacturing are nerds at all. I would say manufacturing is a very cool experience to work in. So,
well, thanks for that, Sarah. Thank you. Hey, Sarah, we'll give this one to you first. Why do you think that there aren't more females in manufacturing?
Well, To be honest with you, in my facility, we have quite a few females in our facility. We have probably 55% male and I'd say 45% female.
That's
So
great.
it was much more than I anticipated coming into manufacturing. My hope is especially to gain more females in manufacturing. It's not a male dominated industry at all. It's for male, female, whomever. And I think, we, especially as my position in HR, my intent is to bring more females in manufacturing, but surprisingly, there are quite a few. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Ken, how about at Schertle? What's the percentage of females in your facility like?
I think we're a little closer to 70-30, 70 for the males, 30 for the females. We have been pushing the last few years to get more females involved in the machine operator role, which has worked out great. We have a lot more step up or show interest than we originally planned. But yeah, they're no different. Everyone can do the job, and we need more females in manufacturing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, thank you. What would you say the main focus of your business is? You guys serve a couple of industry subsectors, Ken, but can you talk a little bit more about what the focus of your business is?
Yeah. We're primarily an automotive manufacturer. We are a little bit in the medical industry, in aviation industry as well, but it's primarily automotive. We are in about 80% of all passenger vehicles in the world. There's some kind of Schertle product in there, but we tend to focus more on your springs, extension springs, as well as the brake clips for your cars. That's probably two of our biggest products.
Right. And Sarah, you kind of mentioned this, but would you go through a couple of the industries you guys serve again and the focus of your business?
So we are located, we're in many different industries, and we're always tapping into new and exciting industries as well. But our main focus is silicone hoses, and mostly in automotive, heavy duty truck, aerospace, and rail. Some of our rail products are not silicone hoses. We might be using reinforced thermal panels, which is obviously a lightweight material that's used in aerospace or rail passenger cars. And so, I would say last year, the percentages between those business units were much different than the look of this year. Obviously automotive can be very cyclical, so we change our focus, and it's nice that we diversify our products in many different markets.
Great, thank you. Would you say that, let's do this one. Is your company privately held or publicly held? The nature of the ownership of your organization?
Myself or for Sarah?
Both of you, actually. So Ken, why don't you go first?
We're a privately held corporation.
Okay. And Sarah?
We're also privately held. We're family owned in the second generation, and we've been around since 1958.
Great. What are some of the, Sarah, we'll let you continue here. What are some of the career positions that the company's hiring for now?
Well, this year, obviously, with COVID has been a little bit unique in our situation. We are hiring. Just earlier today, I've been recruiting for a CAD designer. We really focus, being family owned, we do focus on succession planning, in which that means, we want to promote from within our organization. We like to train and have a career path for you. And with that, we are hiring also a production manager in the next probably month or so. With a production manager position, that is someone who manages our associates out on our shop floor. And they have supervisors that are in the day-to-day operation, but our production manager, they have many supervisors and many associates underneath them, could be anywhere from 50 to 100 associates. But our production manager is someone that we do typically like to promote from within. And so that position will hopefully be filled internally. If not, we will look externally for that. We also are looking for a team lead, which that position is kind of your next step up from an associate position. And so those are other career opportunities that are a career path internally. And then we are going to be looking for a product engineer as well for our advanced manufacturing team. So those are just a few of the opportunities that we have up and coming through the end of the year.
Cool, thanks. Ken, how about at Shertle? What are some of the opportunities that you guys are looking at?
We have a few positions open right now at the moment. We have some off shift, second and third shift assembly positions, as well as machine operator. We also have inside sales position currently open, and also a logistics admin. The inside sales, that's more of a feeder position to become an account manager, a key account manager. So they focus on doing paperwork, getting presentations prepared for the other salespeople. And then the idea is for them to grow in that role to the account manager, and then becoming a key account manager, having even more focus or more interaction with the customer. And then the logistics admin position, they're focusing on shipments, getting the pick list ready for orders that need to go out the next day, and then doing any paperwork for the international shipments as well for those.
If I was a person that didn't have a lot of experience in manufacturing, or had actually never worked in manufacturing before, Ken, what could I expect? Where might I be able to start with Shertle?
We have quite a few entry-level positions. Our secondary operations, a lot of sorting, some visual inspections that are needed, as well as assembly positions. And we also have shop painting type positions where for that, it's a good feeder position. You're learning, you're working with parts that are being made within the company, so that you're able to just understand that part and potentially move to that department to be able to run those machines making those parts. But those are more of our feeder positions that we try to bring people with low experience, see if they have good attendance, good motivation and drive, and then we try to put them somewhere else in the company to help them grow.
Terrific. Sarah, same question. If I were coming to you and I didn't have a great deal of experience, what jobs might I be able to apply for to get started?
Yeah, ours, it would be a production associate, and that is your entry-level position out on the shop floor. And obviously, we have an extensive training program. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a little bit of a skilled trade. And so we, during our interview process, kind of vet out which department you would best fit in, whether it's your artistic and creative, or you like to, work with your hands, or we just ask those questions during the interview, get to know you, and kind of figure out which position is the best fit for you. But it would be a production associate. And like I mentioned, at that point, they could move up to a team lead, to a supervisor, to a production manager. So those are a couple of the positions that we currently have open. And as a production associate, they start out at $15 an hour with a 50 cents increase every 6 months. So that's our minimum wage. And then also in other departments, outside of the production floor, our sales, if you had very little customer service experience, you might start out as an inside sales representative and move your way up with the sales career ladder. Or maybe an engineering technician. Maybe you're working towards an engineering job, and so you might work as an engineering technician and then move into an engineering role, into a product designer, and then into a project engineer. So there's definitely many different career sales ladders and many different opportunities that you can find within manufacturing.
Great. Hey, you touched on wages just a little bit, Sarah, but can you talk about benefits that you offer?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, the production associates start out at $15 an hour with a 50 cents increase until you hit top rate. And that rate currently is $19.65, but that's evaluated annually, and that goes up every December 1st based on our union contract. And then with that is, as a company, like I mentioned, we're family owned, which is a great opportunity. And me being in HR, I get to plan and provide a lot of those fun opportunities for our employees. We do a lot as a company, whether it's a company tailgate, which kind of is annually and goes over where we're at financially and all the great things that we've accomplished and what's up and coming for the future year. We've done a lot of great things, like a golf outing. We did a cornhole tournament last year. We do a golf league. We do let's see, whatever the fun things, many different, we do 50, raffles for fundraisers. We are a huge participant with Berry County United Way. So that's really fun throughout the year. We'll do different events for that. And then with that, we provide tuition reimbursement. So if you wanted to pursue an engineering degree, and it's something that's applicable to our organization. That's something that we support. We support further education and training. And then we also have an in-house training program called FlexFab Foundations that several of our managers have created over the last probably 4 to 5 years. And that's a program where you learn a lot about our organization as well as other areas of the company. So there's a lot of great things in working for our company as well as other manufacturers.
Terrific. And of course, you have medical and dental and vision and things as well. So
Definitely.
Ken, talk about the benefits of working at Shertle a little bit for us.
We have a excellent HSA program for medical, dental, and vision, as well as a 5% match with the 401k. So as long as you put in that 5%, we match that. We also have a tuition reimbursement program. We cover 80% of books and tuition for approved degree programs for that. And then we also have we have open house. Last year we had an open house. This year obviously we weren't able to hold that. But we have a yearly company golf outing, some bowling parties. We try to do monthly luncheons for Employee of the Month. We'll have some announcements and announce the Employee of the Month every month, and then we provide food for everyone for all 3 shifts for that. And we are a family-owned company as well, just out of Germany for that.
Terrific. Thank you. What's the best way a new employee can get started? I mean, how do they go about applying with you?
So we post the majority of our positions on Indeed.com. We also have career opportunities at our Shertle.com website. But or you can come on site as well and pick up an application. But for the most part, applying on Indeed's probably the best way to get through. And then, yeah.
Great, thank you. Sarah, what would you recommend if a young person wanted to learn more about manufacturing opportunities and kind of educate themselves to see what else is available out there?
Yeah, there's a lot of different great resources out there if you want to learn more about manufacturing and the other or some of the opportunities. We've got some information on our webpage, which is discovermanufacturing.com. You could even reach out to your school guidance counselor. They could definitely be able to help you out. On growingpro.com, there are also some resources on there. There's STEM training. I'm sure some of the students maybe have heard of the Maven platform. That's another opportunity. Michigan Works. I mean, there's many different resources that are out there that you can look into and look into manufacturing opportunities.
Great, thank you, Sarah. Hey, Ken, why do you think some of the participants watching our panel today should come back in November for the evening session and talk to us some more? Why would you say that they should come back?
Because manufacturing affects everyone. Without manufacturing, we don't have a lot of things. It's a big part of the infrastructure, and it's a lot of career opportunities. Whether it's on the production floor running a machine or going to school to be an engineer to create that machine. There's a wide array of possibilities and careers available. I mean, this is the best way to get a snapshot on those different companies and what they're doing and see which one may suit you the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken. Sarah, some of the folks that are watching today already kind of have their mind made up and they don't believe that they're really interested in manufacturing. Why should they care?
Well, first of all, I would love to individually speak with students on what I mentioned in the very beginning about, the question you had asked about manufacturing nerds are pretty cool. Well, I always like to look at it that there's more to manufacturing than just working on a factory line. We have worked and seen the progression of many of our associates come off our production floor into engineering, into sales, into HR even. And so, it's a great opportunity, and I would love to individually speak with those students on just what does that look like for them. Many people don't think about, I want to go into manufacturing, where I don't want to work in a factory. It has a very negative connotation around it, and it's nothing like that. Manufacturing can be a very clean environment, can be very intricate, detailed work. If you like to work with your hands, if you like to be creative. So there's definitely opportunities for each and every student out there. I definitely would not exclude manufacturing as an opportunity at all. So it's pretty cool to be in manufacturing.
Thanks, Sarah. Sarah, we'll give this one to you to start, and then Ken, we're going to ask you the same thing. But how did you get started on your career path? I mean, what made you choose manufacturing? And tell us a little bit about how you got started and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, so I have worked in human resources for, oh gosh, I don't want to date myself, but maybe over 25 years. And I also worked for a family. I came out of a family-owned company, and I chose my career path after I graduated from high school. I worked with my school guidance counselor, as well as I worked with counselors at the university I graduated from, and to choose that career path that best suits my skill set. And I chose HR, in which is human resources, and it's mainly dealing with all the people. And after that, I just continued to work for family-owned organizations, and I ended up here at FlexFab 3 years ago. It'd been a couple years since I worked in manufacturing, but it has been the best career path that I have chosen. And it's when I go out on the floor and I get to meet these individuals that make our products, that's why I say it's a skilled trade, because overall you look at the work that they're doing, and we would not have our company if we would not have our 250 associates out on the floor making these products every day for all the customers that are out on the road today, whether it's in your car, in a truck, in a plane, on a train. So it's, my career path has been HR, but I've really enjoyed working in manufacturing as well.
That's awesome. Thanks, Sarah. Ken, how about you? How did you get started in the business? And I mean, what did you pursue in education? And when did you know that manufacturing was going to be your life?
I kind of bounced around a little bit. I spent 4 years in the military, active duty. Came home, decided I missed the military, so I went and joined the reserves while working in a manufacturing job. I started here at Schertl about 5 years ago while I was finishing my bachelor's degree. I was originally going for like a business administration. I ended up going for public administration with more HR focused classes. And then once I finished that, I was offered an HR position at Schertl. They knew I was going to school and what my long-term career goals were. So when I was close to the end of that, they offered me the HR position. But yeah, I don't want to say I just kind of fell into it, but I had an interest in HR, and then it worked. The timing and everything with Schertl worked to offer me this position.
What did you do in the military?
In the active duty in the Marines, I was aircraft electrician, and then I was a machinist in the reserves. I've always liked to work with my hands, and at the same time, like developing training plans. That's always interested me, and watching the career growth and people excel. And then those two mixes just kind of put that together and for HR.
Yeah. So you have the hands-on element of having done some of the hands-on work before, as well as the people skills and the administrative skills. That's awesome. Ken, we'll continue with you here, but tell me about some of the challenges of your job and what you like the most about your job.
The challenges are getting along. That's probably the hardest thing to deal with when people aren't getting along, but that's thankfully not too often. But I mean, my favorite thing is like talking with people, finding out what they want to do. And even if that's not directly aligned with the company, it's how can we align that to make that beneficial for both people, for the company and for the employee, if what their career goals are don't exactly align with us. But I like speaking with the employees, finding out what they really want to do, and finding a way to make that a reality within Schertl. This development is probably one of my favorite things.
That's awesome. Thanks, Ken. Sarah, same question back to you. So what's difficult about your job on a daily basis, and what do you enjoy the most about your position?
Yeah, I have to kind of agree with Ken, and that's probably why we're in HR, is we love working with people, and we love just helping people develop. Look, I had mentioned many different career ladders. I love sitting down with individuals and saying kind of what are your goals and what are your aspirations and how can I help you get there? And I can even work closely with your supervisor or manager. So I love dealing with people. On the flip side, some of the challenges can be that it's very busy in dealing with people, and many people say, can you work from home? Can you do your job from home? And I'm like, no, I can't. Working and dealing with people over a screen like this, over a Zoom meeting, is very difficult for someone who likes to work with people individually face to face. And so I would much rather be here at the office and be here to answer questions from my employees. And I'm an assistance to them. I'm here to help them and help them achieve their goals, whether it's even I gotta change my 401k election, or I've had a death in the family, I have an illness, how do I go about this? Or I don't like my job, I want a new job, or so whatever the situation might be, HR is here to help them out. Some of the challenge also within our organization, even, this year is an interesting year with COVID. We've had to be very flexible. We've had to be vulnerable. We've had to be in our jobs. We have to be really good at multitasking. And sometimes that can be a benefit and sometimes it could be even a failure. And so we've got to be here and we're always changing our hats. But that's something I do love about. I love about my position as well as the organization as well. So.
Well, we certainly want to thank you both for your time and sharing from the heart today. Ken and Sarah, we've enjoyed speaking with you, and I'm sure the students would love to talk to you further, but perhaps we'll see some of you again in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we hope to see them on November 18th, and definitely come with questions available. We are here to ask any questions that you might have about the manufacturing industry.